Hi, Gay DeRusso with the Majestic rider. Today I'm on Flyboy. He's the Rocky Mountain horse that used to be very tense and pacey under saddle, and now he's done all the arena work. It's getting much better. His owner's learning how to ride him in the arena, and it's mostly just working on his saddle gait in there. His flat walk is very good. He can even do a little bit of a running walk. And so now I'm working him out on trail. He's gaiting much better out here. He used to step pace a lot. He's not anymore, but I'm keeping his head down and relaxed, and I'm making him use himself instead of just letting him go when I get to hills and having his throw his head up and step pace up the hill, because that's what he was doing before, because it was very easy for him. Okay, so I'm going downhill, so I half halt, release, half halt, release, half halt, release. And since he's walking out, no leg, just the half halt, which is squeezing and relaxing on the rein. I do that when I'm going downhill to make sure, one, they're paying attention, two, they're going down slow enough they can assess the terrain. Because if you're running down footing like that, especially if they have a big stride, they're going to catch your toe because they're not paying attention. So if your horse is trippy, go down slow, make it pay attention, or serpentine, make it easier on them, or walk, stop, get their attention back and make sure they are focusing on the situation. Okay? All right. So you see how slow he's walking? You might be like, oh, that's great, he's walking so slow. No, I'm riding out here alone. He needs to walk out, because I gotta, even though I ran him around, I gotta get some energy off to make sure when we turn back for home, he doesn't come back fast. So always, you know, most of the answers with horses are do the opposite of what the horse wants to do. So he wants to go slow, so I want to go forward. On the way home, they want to go forward, I want to go slow. So this is even working on his gait. This is his flat walk, but I'm holding him straight. You'll see his head straight. You'll see it tilt once in a while because he's trying to turn his head to look at things, and I won't let him. I don't want to pull back because he gets bunched up, so I'm just pulling out to the side as I correct him. Now he's staring at these horses. I just whacked him with my stick lightly, but I did it a couple of times, and I just did it more because he tried to look at him again. So my job is to look for danger on the trail, help him keep straight, and help him keep focused. His job is to carry me and to pay attention to the footing and his feet so he doesn't trip, because again, he's carrying us. So he has to pay attention because that's his most important job right now, is to carry us and to keep us safe. If he has to carry us, keep us safe, be smooth with his gaits, not spook at anything, know where he's going on the trail, not get distracted by all these other horses going by. It's just too much. It's too much for him. So you got to help him. So you're the leader. You take charge and just help him. I'm giving little taps because he's looking at the scarecrow coming around the corner. You want to split your jobs. This is a team. So your job is to protect him and to help him and steer him down the correct trail, know where you're going, work on your gaits and all of that. And that's a lot to do. And his job is to carry you, which is hard enough, and to stay sure-footed. Okay? In other words, not trippy. So he's looking to the right, so I just tapped and I pulled on my left rein a little bit. So this is his flat walk, and that's what we want to work on to start. I don't want to come out and saddle gait because he's not warmed up enough, but he's warmed up enough for his flat walk, which is just a fast walk. See him looking to the right, and I keep bumping my left rein, which means I'm squeezing and relaxing. Now he's looking at the scarecrow, so I squeezed and relaxed on my right rein, and I'm alternating my legs. As his belly goes back and forth, I'm just letting my legs go with him, and I'm just pushing. Okay? So what I want him to do is just flat walk as fast as he can. We just went by the scarecrow. See, he didn't even look at it. Many Rockies are good. They're not spooky, but don't let them fool you. You still got to ride. Okay? So we're trying to get him to engage, and what I'm feeling is his back feet digging into the ground and pushing us up the hill. That's what you want to feel like your flat walk. You want to engage and use this flat walk to strengthen your horse, strengthen their hindquarters, strengthen their stifles and their top line, and really learn how to push. Horses are about easy, so if you just go up the hill and nobody's trained that horse, they're probably going to pace, trot, or step pace, especially if you're not telling them what to do. They'll just like, that'll be the easiest thing in case you take me on a 6-hour ride. You're like, okay, because I don't know any better. And then the horse just starts pacing, trotting, or still pacing the whole time. No, teach them. This is like a workout, and we're going upstairs right now. Keep their head down, and keep pushing. Okay? Make him use that hindquarter. Make him pay attention. Push. Make him push us up the hill. And you can feel the power. It should feel kind of like a sports car, like a Trans Am. The power's coming from the rear end, not the front end. So we don't want front wheel drive horses. We want rear wheel drive horses because we want the power, them to engage. Now you might be like, why? Well, I'm going to tell you why. The reason you want that, it's better for your horse's body. They're not born to carry people. So if we're going to ride them and then we're going to keep their health because we want to keep the horse for 20 years or so because we put so much training in them, we don't want to keep getting new horses. So it's much easier to keep the one you have, make it good if it's possible, you get along with it. And then you want to keep it healthy. So if I let him, trotting's not bad for their health. It's just bad for our butt because we want a smooth horse. There was a gun. So that was good. He did good with the gun. But the pace and step pace are not good because they're swinging their legs. And although it's fine when they're loose, when they have a rider on their back, it's different. So it puts a lot more pressure on their SI joint, which is part of their pelvis. I'm tapping. Yesterday, a branch smacked him in the head right here. You're okay. See how he remembered? It was that exact spot. I couldn't have remembered the exact spot, except he showed it to me. So he's smart. That's not a dumb horse. That's a smart horse who goes, yesterday something smacked me in the head right here and I couldn't see it because it was low and he had his head down like a branch. And then he's like, is it going to smack me today? Because then I don't want to go. And I'm like, smart horse. No, it's not going to smack you today. Let's go. So, and he went because he trusts me. But we have a big bond now because I've been working him. We're going into our 3rd month. So 2 months have gone by. Okay? Not much this horse trusts me because I've worked with him many, many hours a day. You got to work with your horse many hours. Okay? So that step pace and the pace is hard on their SI joint, their hocks, and their stifles. Now, the step pace can be a very smooth gait, and if you can't get your horse out of it and you don't know what to do, well, that's the best you can do. But you really don't want to pace because it's bouncy, uncomfortable, and the horses don't lift their feet high. It ruins their top line, and it can make them trippy. And if you're trotting, well, it's just bouncy. So you can at least get a foxtrot just by slowing down a little bit, okay? All right, so now what are we working on? We're straight. We're still working on our flat walk. I'm holding him right in between my legs like he's a ball. So if he drifts right, I push with my right leg. If he drifts left, I push with my left leg. If he looks left, I pull on my right rein. If he looks right, I pull on my left rein. Now, I asked him to go for it. He didn't go, so I immediately go to my stick. So if you're prepared, like you have your stick and your spurs in case you have a lazy horse, you're going to do much better versus you just sit up there kicking it and it ignores you. And the other problem with kicking is with gaited horses, they have so many speeds that if you kick, you jump gears. So instead of going from a flat walk to a running walk and you kick, you'll push him all the way up into a pace because you just skipped over his saddle gate, his rack, and now you're up to the pace. Okay? So you don't want to kick. You want to just push and then use things to help you to motivate that horse to go faster if they don't go. Even smacking them with a whip, if you put the reins in one hand and you turn around and smack them, that doesn't work so well either because they shoot forward, you get your reins back and you go, oh, he's going too fast. And then you pull back on him and you're right back where you started. So that's why I use the dressage whip. So I can hit behind my leg, I still have contact, and that way I can just lightly half halt and not pull all the way back. Okay? And that way too, I'm hitting them with less strength. So it's just a reminder of like, keep going forward. So you got to have them forward. You got to have them straight. Straightness makes a huge difference on the horse's muscles carrying themselves and also on their gait, because some of these horses would just gait if you got them straight because they keep drifting left or right. And if you close that door and open the other door, a lot of times they will gait. So it's a lot of things that you're doing when you're out here. But usually half halt going down the hills and going up the hills, you're going to push for more speed because that hill, the reason horses gait so well on many hills, especially the pacey ones, is it does what you're not doing. It collects the horse. It gets them on their back end. It lightens that front end, okay? And then you just got to keep it going up the hill. But with the trotty ones, again, if you go too fast up the hill, they usually separate their legs more and change their gait for the worse, not for the better, at least for us gaited people, since we want it smooth. So, but those horses you might have to go a little bit slower, okay, and faster downhill. All right, so here we go. So this is a slight incline, so I'm going to push. Now as I push, right here he's good, so I'm just leaving him alone. But as I push, he's going to try to put his head up and swing because that's what he's used to. Now he's getting the idea not to do it anymore, but I might have to correct him. So far he's good. He's still good. He's speeding up. He's still good. He's speeding up. He's keeping his head down. He's staying relaxed. And it's a miracle. Another horse that can gait. Okay? So, but again, I spent all the time in the arena, so he would be prepared out here. And this is easier because the footing is helping him now versus the footing in the arena is harder for him because he hasn't done a lot of arena work before, you know, he was sold, I believe. So now I could have stopped up there and rested him, but he's in pretty good shape now, so I don't have to. And it's a good boy. You're doing such a good job. So don't forget to tell them they do a good job. They got to have some reward. How do they know? The release makes a big difference. So when they're doing the right thing, you soften your hands, open those fingers a little bit, and give them a release. And when they stretch out and down, you give a release too, especially if it's a pacey one, because you're trying to get them to relax, because it's the tension that's causing them to pace or them being anxious. Good boy. So again, you can pet them and stuff, but don't drop your reins and be on a loose rein. Especially if you're new to this, you will not be able to use your aids, your half halts, your steering, your tools like leg yielding and all that if your reins are too long. Okay? So listen to his footfall. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's hard to hear because we're not on a road. But he's doing it correctly. He's doing everything right. Now as you go downhill, a lot of horses get pacey, so it'll feel a little rougher. Depends on the horse. But if it's feeling rougher when you're going downhill, do not speed up. That's not the right answer. You want to slow down, half halt. So half halt, release. Half halt, release. Now he's carrying himself, so we're good. Half halt, release. Half halt, release. Because I just felt him lose his balance and start to wobble. Good boy. See him putting his head down? My arms are going forward and down. Good job. Now he likes to cut over here instead of that dirt. I'm not sure why, but who cares? He's doing fine. And this helps if he's pacey. So he's like, hey, Gate, let's walk over some imaginary poles. I'm like, fine with me. So again, if they're pacey, go off the trail, go in the hard footing. But he's doing pretty good. So we're going up the hill. He's good. And now I'm going to hold, because right there he tried to, like, can I step pace up this hill? And I was like, hell no, you got to push. And he just did. He just pushed all the way down. Now something's caught his attention up here, so what do? I shorten my reins, because I know something's up there. Now it could be a bird. Sometimes there's hawks in the trees. So you shorten up and sit back and get ready. Okay? So I have these colored reins. She had them on there to help her know where to hold. So I'm all the way up into the red by the yellow. Now it's on the right, so I can tell that because you can see which way his head's going. And so I got my left rein and leg, because if he spooks, he's going to spin to the left. They don't spin into the spooky object. So I'm tapping. We have deer up here and other things, which we don't want to mention because there he's going to the bathroom. So all these things tell me he was a little nervous. So one, he's looking and he bunched up. He said something's there. And then he went to the bathroom. He said, I'm preparing to run, because if I get my manure out, I can run a lot faster. That's why they buck people off, to run faster. Okay. Now, in all these bushes, you see, anything could be hiding down there watching us. And just like us, they can feel when something's staring at them. Now, that stare could be coming from a deer in a bush, but he doesn't know. Is it a deer or is it a predator? Which is it? I just feel something staring. And that's like you in the bar. You're like, I feel someone staring. Is it a hot guy or is it a creepy guy? Same thing if you're a guy. Is it a hot woman or is it a creepy woman? If it's a hot one, you're like, ooh la la, it's okay that she stares. So I'm okay if it's a deer staring. He just doesn't know the difference, and he's okay with a deer staring. But if it's a mountain lion, hell no. We're out of that bar. We're like, let's go. creepy mountain lion watching. Okay, so we're still flat walking. So only where I was saddle gating is just up the hills at this point in time. And then on other trails, I'm going to do it on the flat, where we have a lot more. But our trail here is a little bit more technical, so I usually ride this trail, which is hills, and work some on a saddle gate, and then when I get back to the barn, I work some more on it in the arena. So that does a couple of things. He gets more time working on his saddle gate, get his head down. He felt like he was going to raise it up and get tense, and even slow down if you need to. If they really just keep pacing or step pacing, you're probably going too fast for them. So go back, not faster. But so when I ride trails like this, I just go back in the arena and practice some. The more you practice the gait you want, the faster and better it's gonna get, okay? And you're gonna get it sooner than later, okay? But if you ride trails like this every single day and you only saddle gait a minute here, a minute there, well, guess what? Those minutes are gonna take a long time to add up to get your horse better. It will, but it'll take longer. So the more you practice the gait you want, the better it's gonna get. But always build from the bottom up. Always get your flat walk first, then your next gait, okay? All right, so I'm doing the same thing. Now this is more a running walk for him. Now there he's going towards a step pace, but it stayed in a saddle gait because I just brought his head down a little bit. So many horses can do a little running walk if they have some overstride, okay? And then their saddle gait is usually after that. If your horse is really short strided or too lateral, you might just go into a saddle gait, okay? But you're trying to get all the gaits if you can at all different speeds so you can ride with all different people and not have issues. But if you're just like speed racking all the time, the horse is probably not going to gait well slower because you never do it. And you're not going to have any friends except for other speed rackers. And if that's what you want, that's just fine. But the speed racking horses usually are very smooth when they're fast, sometimes not as smooth when they're slow. So you got to teach them what to do because nobody's usually worked at that slower speed very much. Okay, so we're going to take a break up here and let him eat grass. That's going to be his reward, and then I'll put you on the way back. Okay, so while we're resting, I'll talk a little more because I'm sure you didn't hear me talk enough. So let's talk about your job and the horse's job, okay? Remember I said his was to carry us and stay sure-footed, and ours is to look out, control his speed, tell him where to go, and all of that. It's very important that with any of the things you're doing, that the horse understands its job, because it will cause less confusion, less temper tantrums, okay? So I want you to think about it like this. You go to play football with people, right? It's at a party or something, and you go to play football and you guys are playing, but you really don't know what you're supposed to do, right? They didn't really explain the game to you, so you're like, I don't know, I just run out here, catch the ball, run left, run right, I really don't know. So instead of a plan like they have in real football, okay, and of course of what they're supposed to do, like Joe run left, Susie run right, you know, and I'll look at the person I'm going to throw to, and then you'll know the ball's coming. Instead, Joe and Susie are all over the place. So they turn around to the quarterback, and he's going to throw the ball, and they're both like, I got it. And he throws the ball. Who knows if he threw it through Susie or Joe, because they were close together because they didn't have a plan. And they both leap for the ball, smack each other in the head, fall down, and neither of them catches the ball. Okay? Now, they had two options. Two people could have caught that ball, but because there was no plan, it got confused. They actually hit each other, and now they're probably pissed at each other, especially Susie, because Susie's probably not as big as Joe, and he clocked her in the head with his head, and her head's not as hard as his, so she probably got up screaming and bitching because she's pissed off now. Okay, and she's like, I ain't playing no more. You guys are jerks. So you're always trying to have a plan. You want your horse to understand its job and know what it needs to do. Now, that means you gave the horse rules. And many people, they don't want to give the horses rules. They just want to be kind to the horse. The horse doesn't like that. The horse wants to know its job, even when it's in a herd. See? He said, yeah, I need to know my job. when they're in a herd, they have a job, right? And in the front, the middle, the back. Which part are they protecting? Which are they warning other horses about? But they know their job, okay? And they might get moved around to different spots until they're good at one of those jobs, and that's where they keep that horse. Like, you stay in the back, you're pretty good at protecting it. You're pretty spooky in the back, so you need to be in the middle, protect the middle with the other wimps, okay? So that's the kind of idea. Is you might think you're being kind by letting your horse look all over the place. You might think you're being kind by letting the horse, you know, ride on the buckle. This is the buckle, the loose end of the rein. You might think you're being kind by not steering or touching his mouth or just riding in a halter, but in the end, you're not, because the horse is going to have issues and it doesn't have any structure or know what to do. So if it knows its job, you can communicate well, because you either have a bit or you have a hackamore or bitless bridle or side pull. All these things are fine, but halters are not made to be ridden on the trail. I've seen many people bolted away with, and they couldn't stop for miles, and you usually find the person way before you find the horse, okay? So the more they know their job and the more easier you can communicate with them. He's a little iffy about walking over this stuff. The happier they are, the less temper tantrums, the less mad they get, because they know what is expected of them. And then they know if you get after them, they usually know why, okay? Horses are very smart. They're not dumb. People think they're dumb. They're not. It's what we do to them that makes them appear dumb, and it's usually because we didn't teach them the right way, or they just don't understand. In fact, many of them are smarter than a lot of people I know. Okay, they can figure things out much faster without anybody talking to them in English, or, you know, we just give them hints here and there, and they're like, I got it, don't worry about it. And I was like, I knew you did, because you're smarty pants. Okay, so they want to know what their job is, and you want to show them, but you want to prepare them correctly, ride them in equipment that's going to help you. And you got to ride with the right energy and the right people, because even if you do everything right, but you ride with chaotic people or people that are taking off all the time, and your horse is not used to this, or your horse doesn't have horse experience, you're going to make a bad trail horse. And it's not that that horse was bad. It might have been a great trail horse if you had ridden it, you know, with one sane person or by itself, and then slowly built up his confidence and then rode with more and more horses. But you just took it into a pack of horses where there's chaos. You know, nobody knows who the leader is, nobody knows who's first, who's last, who's in the middle, and it's not comfortable for the horse. It's chaotic, and yeah, they might do it, but they might not be comfortable if they don't have that laid back temperament, like, oh, who cares about any of them? Oh yeah, that Joey ran off, who cares, don't bother me. You might be riding Susie, and Susie's like, why'd Joe run off? Who's going to kill us? Who's behind it? Why are all the other horses running? I think we need to run. Hey, you don't want to run? No, I'm telling you, you should run. We should run. And then you're like, no. And Susie goes, well, I'm going to run because I'm really scared. And off you go. You're launched off the horse, and you're off in the side somewhere, hopefully not on a rock. But she did it because she was scared. She didn't understand what was going on. First is you slowly build them up in steps, and then you ride with more people, or then you add in one chaotic person and see if your horse can deal with it. But I can tell you, most horses don't like chaos, and it's better to ride with calm people who help each other versus the chaotic people just running down the trail as fast as they can, out of control. Okay? But again, it's your decision, it's your horse, so you can ride as you want. I'm just here to try to keep you guys safe, sane, and get a smooth ride. Alright, so you see he's not going back any faster, but this is faster than he started walking out. Remember when he walked out, he walked really slow? That's normal. Horses want to come out super slow in case they get the chance to go back. They can just turn around because they didn't make it very far, and they want to go home faster. So you go out forward, you come back slow. Your rides will be much better. Now he's looking at something. There's deer up on the hill. There's 3 of them. And he's like, I told you something was up there. And I said, you did, fly boy. So he's just looking. Now I see they're going into the bushes off on the right. You want to go chase them? He's like, yeah, if I can chase those things. I was like, yeah, let's go chase them. So now you see he's moving forward. Now you can't really see it. I can hardly see it, but I did see its ears hopping away when he just stopped. So see, they're much better at seeing that motion, at hearing it. I got my reins real short. Breathe, stay calm. Now I'm going to slide the bit a little bit because he's getting a little nervous. You're okay. I got you. I'm going to stop teaching for a minute and just tell you what I'm doing. You're okay. Good boy. Good boy. They're not those killer deer. No, these are the nice ones. Now a hawk just flew over us too, so that just adds to it. Good boy. I got you. Now he's assessing. He's like, I don't know, Gay. Good boy. So when he sat there, I just put a little leg on him, and then he decided, okay, I'm going to go. So he's trying to make sure, are we okay? Now, if you look back in this video, you'll see when we passed this, we got past it, he stopped and he turned his head left, right? He said something's in there, and that's when I was talking about the creepy guy. Okay, I was talking about the creepy guy in the bar. Now, there's a drop-off after this. Hey, spook, but that's okay, because my reins are short and I'm ready. Even though I just turned the camera and I had one hand, I was still fine. Now, this is a young horse. He's only 6 years old, okay? So to me, this is no big deal. Yeah, there were deer, but he doesn't know, is it just the deer or was something chasing the deer? Did the deer run from us coming up, or did the deer run because something's following the deer? And now that the deer left, I'm the next in line to get eaten. That's the process in their brain, okay? So you have to realize that. That's why I didn't come up here on a loose rein like, oh, it's deer, don't worry about it. Even in my brain, I'm thinking, well, yeah, you could be right. There could be something following that. So guess what? I'm going to hang on to you, because if you're going, I'm going. You leave me behind, that mountain lion's going to get me. I'm slow as a turtle. I can't run. So I got to stay with him. He's going to help me if it really is something like that. And he makes me appear bigger than if I'm versus on the ground. So you see things like that, you shorten up and be ready. You just never know the day that horse is right. And there is something following the deer. Okay, so now we're by it. So now I can feel him, his tension's starting to go away. I can feel it through my seat. His head's still up, but it's not bad. And he's still walking out. I just took a look behind us to make sure. Remember, they can see behind themselves. We can't, okay? They just can't see directly behind them, but they can see a lot more than we can see. Oh boy. So again, if there's something a little funny and they want to move out some in that area, I don't make the horses stay real slow. I might give them jobs to do, but I keep moving because I'm like, yeah, some of the times you guys really are right, and you totally know. So the things that sometimes people don't understand is they see different than us, so their eyes are attracted to motion, which I've said a lot of times, and I have those videos on seeing. They can hear farther away, and they hear at different tones than we can. So he's going to pick up things I can't hear. Now I'm just sliding the bit and staying relaxed, but you'll see I'm keeping his head straight. And you're okay. Now the feather's there. It's okay. Good job. So again, he's on high alert. So that feather just moved. And again, he sees that blurry. So he's like, is that one of those feather things, or is it a killer bunny rabbit that's going to bite me in the leg? So he had to assess it. Now here he's scared again. Oh boy. So again, the reason he now has gotten spooky where he wasn't spooky before is he's on high alert because those deer set him off. So we just got to get back to relaxing, okay? So I'm going to start to serpentine, and I should have done that before, but I was talking. So what I'm trying to do is just give him a different job to do, so he's got to pay attention to me instead of looking for things to get scared of, okay? So the serpentine's very helpful. You can go on and off the trail, separates their legs, keeps them from getting pacey, but also gives them a job to do. But I don't try to hold them way back. I don't make circles. I don't stop and go, because those things, when a horse is anxious, worse. So you keep going forward, just give them things to do as you're going forward, so it might help to slow them down. Okay? Good boy. Okay, now we got the hill. So far he's good. He picked the right side, but that's fine. Now I'm going to half halt. So all that whole time he was good until right there I had a half halt twice just to help him again get back on his back end. I just did it again, so just squeeze and relax, because I don't want him on his front end running down the hill. Okay? So the other thing people don't know is they see really well, they hear really well, just different than us. They smell farther away than we can. So again, when your horse gives a big snort, he's trying to smell what's around, especially if you're out alone. He might scream to another horse to see if any other horses are around. That little whinny that we laugh at because it's so high pitched. Well, guess what? They can hear that much better far away than the low tone. So that's why they go, "Ah!" and they scream, right? I'm sure you like my interpretation of them. And then you know what else they can do? They can feel vibrations. Remember when you watch the movies and then they show the people on the ground putting their head to the ground or feeling the ground, trying to feel vibrations if galloping horses were coming, because these were Western movies usually. The horses can feel that. So even though you might not see anything or hear anything and you can't feel the vibrations, the horse can. So even if there's something, and it might be a mile away from us, say somebody else was out here, fell off their horse and the horse was galloping, I don't see it or hear it, he does. He might not see it, but he can probably hear it, and he can darn well feel it through his feet. So it just depends on the confidence of that horse. Has it been used to running horses before? Is this its first time out on the trail? And if it's not, and it's not confident, guess what? It loses its mind. It wants to get the hell out of there because it's like something's running, and I don't know if it's running at me to kill me or running away, and I should run away because something's chasing it, and we should all get the hell out of here. So it gets very antsy. And when you try to stop your horse from going forward, guess what? It gets antsier because it's like something is coming. It's coming to get us. It's just like watching that horror movie. You're like, it's coming. It's coming. Don't open that door, Susie. The damn thing's in that door. Don't open it. You're screaming at it, right? So that's what your horse is doing. It's like, something's coming. Something's coming. Let's not wait to see if it's Sasquatch or it's Bigfoot or it's the Loch Ness Monster, even though they don't go on land. I know that. And you just don't know. But your horse is trying to tell you. So go forward. Give it jobs. Try to ride it out. If it's bad and you're positive nothing scary is coming, you could get off and walk your horse because they feel more secure when you're on the ground because you're leading. So then they have a leader, and they also have something on the ground that they know if something comes, you're not fast, so you'll get eaten and they'll run away. So they calm down. And as long as you have good control, you did good groundwork, you should be able to get the control back in that horse, and once it comes down and you're all safe, you can get back on. Okay? You don't have to ride it out. But if you do ride it out, I can tell you I've done everything over the years, and the circles and the stopping and going usually just makes the horse worse when it's scared. Doesn't mean it doesn't slow it down or do other things. If your horse is comfortable, yes, those things do work. It's just when it's really anxious or scared, usually doesn't work. It just makes your horse rear up or get more pissed off and have a temper tantrum. All right? So remember that. We're riding prey animals, and you can't ever forget that. It's nice that they let us on their back, but they are horses, and some of them act more like horses, and some of them act more like machine-like, and some of them are, have a higher alert and higher flight status, and some of them don't. And some of those with that high alert or hotter mentality can be spectacular horses because you can get them to do so many things so easily, where if you have a lazy, dull horse that doesn't spook at anything, it's very hard to get like high-level dressage movements out of them, or lead changes, or maybe even a faster, smooth gait, because it's hard to get them motivated. So there's good and bad with all different kinds of horses. You just got to know what you got and what to deal with it. So let's see if he stops here to, because again, he whacked his head. Now he lifted his head up, but he went right through it. So now you might be like, how does he know exactly where that was? I don't know. There were markers that he put in his head that he saw. Maybe a branch broken, maybe something else. But he knew that was the exact same spot, and that's the crazy thing. Horses can do stuff like that where we don't recognize it as well. So it's the same thing. You go out on a ride, and your friend is riding Susie. No, let's say she's riding Joe, because Susie would probably not do it because she's a mare. So she's riding Joe, and your friend takes Joe right through the mud, and he sinks. Okay? Then it's a big ordeal to get Joe out of the mud. But Joe did what the rider said, and Joe sunk in the quicksand. So now, every time you ride out there and your horse sees mud, you know what it does? It goes around the mud. And you're like, go in the mud. And he's like, I'm not going in the mud, because I saw Joe sink. Now, I don't know which mud he sank in, but I'm not going in that mud. And that's why they don't want to go in there, because they saw something bad happen. So you might have to fix it, you might have to start at home and start with a little mud and then a little more mud and build up his confidence. Like, it's not all the mud, it was just that one time. But if they trust you, they will most likely go through anything. If they don't trust you, or they see something bad, and it can be anything bad, it can be a horse jumping and it crashed into a fence and the other horse saw it, and it got hurt, your horse might not want to jump that fence anymore. Or a horse won't, your horse loads fine in the trailer and you trailer somewhere and you're trailing with someone and their horse is horrible and it won't get in the trailer and you got to put more and more pressure and get after it. The other horse watches that and he goes, why is he so scared? I thought the trailer was fine, but I'm not so sure anymore. I don't think I'll get in it either, just because it watched it. I know, crazy, right? But that's the way it is. All right, so we're heading back down the hill. I think I've talked your ear off, so I'm going to stop now. But just know that I'm going to go back in that arena and work his gait some. And that's what you should do as well. All right, remember, like and subscribe. Keep the videos coming, and happy trails, everyone.